What is going on, guys? We are back with another DSP video, and today we're looking at tips for the first quarter of 2024. We're doing a little mini review here today. So to start off, he had 78 streams during quarter one. Now if anyone follows me on Twitter or sees the videos I do on YouTube here, I did a series called DSP versus minimum wage, and I did posts on Twitter. Well, I kind of made a mistake on those, because in an other place, my good friend on Twitter pointed this out to me, that as of January 1st, 2024, minimum wage in Seattle actually went up. So that means I was actually underreporting minimum wage there, which means I actually gave Phil extra days in the column of over days. So the screen you see here is how many days he's been over, under, or tied for minimum wage. So I went back, I readjusted it, and interestingly enough, he now has 36 days over minimum wage, 40 days under minimum wage, and 2 ties. Now don't get too excited over that, because we'll explain that in a few moments here. So we now have what DSP's goal for quarter one was, what the minimum wage would have paid out, and what he actually made here. Which is really weird, because he wants $150 per stream and 78 streams, so that equals to about $11,700, which is really weird because he's actually asking for less than minimum wage. Because in his area, if he would have worked the exact same thing in a minimum wage job, he would have got $12,461. So that's actually more than his actual tip goal for quarter one. Now what he actually made was $12,764. So those days where he was over outbalanced the days he was under, which gave him a gain of $303 versus a minimum wage for the quarter, which is not a lot of breathing room. My advice, and I know he'll never do this, get a 9-to-5 job, stream on the side. You can still get your super chats, your memberships, all that stuff, but you would get benefits, sick time, vacation time, all that stuff. Then we start off with the brother and sister channel. Throwback was the new kid on the block. It made $803 in quarter one, with the biggest supporter being Jared Jackson with $163. Now DSP versus the internet is completely dead. So in one quarter, 3 months, he made $262 with $70 coming from Anonymous. And it really is redundant, because he watches his own stuff on DSP versus the internet, but then watches his stuff on DSP Throwback. And he's still asking for memberships and super chats on both. Then we get to the special events. So we had a Super Bowl event where he made $152, with the biggest supporter being NDO with $100. I believe there was also a $40 anonymous tip. And then the thing we thought we'd never see, Cat was back on stream, bigger than ever, and he made $604 pimping out his wife. And look at that, #1 supporter Lisa Lou with $50. I wonder if Lisa likes iced coffee. And then we get to the fighting games. He was still playing Street Fighter 6 at this point, and started up Tekken 8. So for Street Fighter 6, he got $225, with the top supporter, of course, being Jax Raxter with $75. And then he played Tekken 8 and made $888, and the biggest supporter was Jax Raxter again with $325. That is right, he gave Phil over $400 between the two games, and he's on pace for $1,600 if he keeps this up. Next we get to the point where he made his most money, and that was the pre-stream. He made $3,940 just on the pre-stream. Now keep in mind, when I look at Baldur's Gate 3 and the other games, it's only the money that's made on the actual gameplay stream. So it's separate from the pre-stream, so we can see where the money's coming from. So $3,940 just from the pre-stream in quarter one. And of course, it wouldn't be possible without 1 Minute Man, which I believe at some point late last year or early this year, Jeff stopped tipping, and I believe the whales came together and wanted to keep the persona living. So they're rotating out. Right now is Game Cucker. Who knows, maybe Haseo will be next. It's just a rotating door for them. 1 Minute Man supported with $1,876 in Q1. Then his most profitable gameplay was Baldur's Gate 3, even though he said it almost killed the channel. By the way, he got this for free. It was gifted to him. And he made, during the gameplay, $3,501. And the biggest supporter was Grim Ripper with $420. He also played RE0, getting $314, with $150 of that coming from Anonymous. Then he also started and stopped Sea of Stars, which got him $336. Remember too, this is a Game Pass game. RE0, he already owned it as well. Ms. Lore Lover in with $72 as the top supporter. And then finally we get to Pal World for $166. Game Pass game, by the way, as well. Dan the Dent with $86 of the $166. We have Like a Dragon, the game he complained about the most. Got him almost $1,000. He got $992, but $400 came from 2 people. So Kirk and Jinx both tipped $200 throughout this playthrough. And then we get to Final Fantasy VII. He made $219 with $100 from Anonymous. I'm not going to look at Dragon's Dogma just because it was like 3 streams. It was like a throwaway stream, just like Modern Warfare as well. But yeah, that is insane numbers. Then if you actually take his actual amount made, 12,764 minus 10%, it's 11,000 something, which is about what's being reported he spent during Q1 on WWE Champions. Funny how that works out, isn't it? I hope you guys like that. Click that like, share the video, leave a comment below, hit subscribe. Subscribe to my other channels on the details of the end cards. And as always, I love each and every one of you. Hope you're all safe, healthy, and happy. Peace and love.